What's up, Dallas Wings fans? My name is Channing Beumer. I'm the founder of CNK Daily, and we are here talking all things sneaks with two amazing Dallas ladies as we celebrate Sneakerhead Night with the Dallas Wings. So I'll let them introduce themselves, and then we'll kick things off.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Milburn. I'm a twin mom, and I am a Baltimore native. I'm co-owner of Hold Your Tonguez, and we specialize in getting our clientele highly coveted shoes.
Hello, my name is Akellia, better known as AK. I'm from Dallas, Texas. I am a shoe designer, owner of Customs by AK, where we do custom shoes. Also, I'm a nonprofit founder and CEO of Saving Souls by AK, where we teach kids school readiness programs, mental health programs, and all things sneakers.
Awesome. And before we get started, all of us are decked out in Banter jewelry. We all look amazing, if I do say so myself. So please make sure you check out Banter for some amazing pieces. Next up, let's kick things off, pun intended, with the question everybody loves. Where does your love for sneakers come from, and how has it evolved for you individually?
To explain my love for sneakers, I would have to definitely, it's like a series, right? Like you said, it evolves.
Mm-hmm.
So my initial introduction to sneakers was my brother. It wasn't necessarily that he was looking for, the latest sneakers. It was just about his care for sneakers and his passion for it. Like, he was always on clean sneakers, even cutting the grass. Then my cousin Maurice introduced me to like a Jordan collection. His first pair of Jordans, I was never letting him get up 2 pairs on me. So Jordan 13 was my first pair that I got. And then the mixture of hip hop and sports really wove my love and my life for sneakers.
Such an influence, right?
Right. For me, my love came from my parents and just being a tomboy growing up. I was always involved in sports my whole entire life, so sneakers always surrounded me. I always needed for whatever event or whatever sports I was in. So I typically always wore sneakers. I can remember, for me, it changed when I got my first pair of Air Max 90s. Back then, don't judge me, fat laces were in, so I had fat laces that matched with my outfit, and that was just my thing, and I just always had a love for sneakers from a young age.
So I want to talk about something that I think a lot of people hear the term, but they don't necessarily understand it, or especially if they're not really familiar with sneakers or with the sneaker space in general. It's a term that can be used loosely quite a bit. So I'd like to ask both of you, from your personal opinions, what defines a sneakerhead?
Okay, so for me, it would be passion. It would be passion and knowledge, the combination. It would be, just, the look and feel and the surprise element people get with sneakers. So for me as a reseller, when people come up to my table and they're like, hey, I haven't seen that shoe yet, can I touch it, can I see it? That to me defines a sneakerhead, not how many shoes you have or anything like that, but just your overall passion, connection, and knowledge to sneakers.
I love that. That's a very positive definition of a sneakerhead. What about you?
I have to agree. The knowledge part is number one. When someone knows everything about their shoe, to the texture, to when it came out, who wore it first, or what the inspiration came from behind that shoe, and why the reason they have the shoes that they have, I think that's what a sneakerhead is all about. Because you actually know what you're wearing. It's not just buying it because it's a trend. And you just, you're putting effort into the money you're paying for your shoes for something that you really care about and know.
Yeah.
Sure.
For those of you who aren't familiar, those who pay more attention to trends than what they like, we call those hype beasts.
Yes.
That's not as positive. But moving forward, I know, Stephanie, you own a resale company. How do you feel sneakers has evolved specifically for women in the space that we are in?
Got it. Sneakers for me evolved, especially when you think like WNBA and you look back to like the Air Swoop dropping and coming out and how big that moment was and iconic to today. I just think the involvement went from more having like women release shoes that were more like a men's shoe with a woman's name to it, to new fabrics, new styles, new materials and everything, and stories, their backstories and how they went into creating the shoes that really sheds light on who they are.
Right. Storytelling has been huge and incredibly important. What about you, AK?
Yes, storytelling for me is the most important, just because There's always a background behind the shoe, and that has set a milestone in the shoe industry as well. Just because people just don't make shoes and just put certain fabrics together. There's a reason why they put together. So that story just kind of outlooks the inspiration behind that shoe, and then also grabs attention to the clients on why they're buying that shoe as well. So it gives a new reason of why to shop for shoes, and then just to see people really just step out to put an effort into the shoe industry. Meaning, like, I get it. Sometimes you see people in long lines trying to stand outside to get shoes, but back then it wasn't like that, you know. So it's just a new wave, and it's just a great thing to see.
Right. I love that you brought that up because I feel like those of us who have been collecting or who loved shoes since free lunch, as we say, we know what it's like to stand outside and wait. We know what it's like to enter all of the raffles when raffles were new. I don't know about you guys, I might be dating myself a little bit, but I remember Nike Talk and acting older than I actually was. But I think we've seen this transition to digital and bots.
From camping outside to now
Yeah.
camping at your computer.
The dreaded B word, bots, right? And so I think as much as we like to see that it is changing for good, I think we also, would be remiss if we didn't touch on, okay, these are some things that are kind of polluting the game right now, right? That being said, I know that there's been a lot of hoopla about customs, and I personally, I love customs. I think they're amazing. It's a chance for designers who don't necessarily work for the brands to show what they can do. But talk to us a little bit about the custom space and why it's important for you as a designer to share your perspective in that way.
It's very important. One, I have younger kids that look up to me, and I mentor a lot of children. So to see someone say, "Oh, I've never met a shoe designer before," or "I've never met someone in that type of space," is very impactful. And so, as any job that you think you can get, you feel that you have to have that degree or have to go this route, and then, for instance, for me to be able not to go that route and then be able to show that, like, hey, you can still do this, and then be able to create customs and tell a story and get recognized from big companies and big brands to want to work with me from where I got started from, and then to show that whole aspect from the beginning to the end. I mean, I think it's very impactful. It starts a new wave of a new industry. It opens up avenues for jobs, opportunities, brands and companies, and then for me, I mean, it gets to me to tell my own personal story as an artist. I get to shed light on things that I care about, things that I see in my community, and make an impact through my sneaker customizations. Also, I've been able to open the nonprofit through my sneaker customizations as well. So I think it's very important because every customization person has a story of why they're doing it. It's not all about money. We take time, it takes a lot of work to make customizations, and to tell someone else's story of why they got what they're getting. It's not just, oh, I'm coming up with a design for myself. This is what my client wanted, and that story is being inputted into this one shoe, and not something that they just go buy on the shelf and not have a story really behind them why they got that one. That's someone else's story. So.
Okay. All right. I want to pivot a little bit because I know we do. We just talked about kind of like the bad side of sneakers, and I think, to an extent, the resale market gets a little bit of a bad rap, right? And so I do want to talk about that, but first, for those who may not know or may be new to sneakers, can you explain what resale is in just a kind of cut and dry way?
Wow, what resale is?
I know it's an overarching question, but for those who aren't familiar.
Right. So yeah, I basically procure. I just buy shoes, and then I sell them at market value. That's basically what reselling is. It gets a negative rap, which I really don't understand, because everything we buy is resold. Your house is resold. Your car is resold. Everything you own is resold. But like resellers, for some reason, and maybe you ladies could shed some light on why, but like everybody's like, oh, sneaker resellers are bad. But I really think it creates a space and a culture, especially when you go like sneaker conventions or other events based around it, where you could see people who like things that you like, and you could network and see pieces that you wouldn't normally see. So I really think it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. I mean, I think you have you know, you're people who mark things up a little high, a little high. But no, I feel you. I think it's definitely a way that people have forged new paths in this space and in this industry. How do you see the resale space evolving?
Oh man.
Because just to your point, like it used to just be, we would get together at like sneaker shows and everybody would walk around with their boxes and show what they have, or they deck out their table. But now you have people who are making big names for themselves online and things of that nature. So
Right, I see it evolving in a myriad of ways. Like, you know, as culture just blends and weaves in and out of different things, like I see it leaning more into art spaces, kind of like as you watch larger brands do art exhibits out of sneakers. I see it heading in that direction where kids will keep creating and doing just whatever they want with sneakers. And it may not look like a sneaker, but they classify it as a sneaker. So it's just that new wave. So I think the sky is not the limit, you know, space is the limit almost on sneakers.
do you think there should be a cap on how much a shoe can sell for?
No, is there a cap on how much your house should sell for? Ooh.
I mean, yes, determined by the market, correct?
Exactly. So say if the market calls for it, then it should be the same.
Listen,
It should be regarded as the same.
I'm 100% here with you. We're not gonna do this. Because I have thoughts. We're not gonna do that. But I will say this, I think that, you know, the more sneakers becomes an asset class,
Yeah.
the less people can actually get into it for the love. And the more people only get into it for a profit, right?
They could get into it for the love, and like you said, we're never good, but they would just have to choose a different shoe. Like, what shoe do you love that's not that shoe?
Listen, I'll ride or die for the Travis Scott, and one day I will get it.
Sorry, forgive you.
All right. Okay, so AK, this question is for you. What do you like most about sneakers now? I know we've talked about the evolution of sneakers and, you know, how you got into it, but what do you love most about it right now?
I like the space. And let me specify what I was talking about, the space. To where now you see rap artists creating their own sneakers and being able to tell their story through a sneaker. Or where you can see a local artist that might have nothing to do with sneakers be able to create a sneaker and tell their story. I think it's a new platform that's going around now that stories are really being shed light on through sneakers. And it opens a lot of avenues for different things, for different markets, for different brands, companies to be able to network with different people throughout the world, to tell different stories. I feel like a shoe is a book. It tells so much. It tells you about the person, their style, what they are, what they like. And it's, like I said, it's just a great avenue to be able to open up that conversation, to have people do sneakers, literally.
Okay. All right, so Steph, you touched on this earlier, and I'm really glad that you did. Obviously, we're here with the Wings, one of the greatest WNBA teams in the league. But I think it's really important for us to talk about how pivotal a role and how much synergy there is between the WNBA and sneaker culture in general. You touched on a very iconic shoe with Cheryl Swoops. You know, shout out to the Olympics, the Atlanta Olympics, where I was watching and wanted those shoes very badly. But in your opinion, what are key signature shoes that you've seen?
Wow.
It's a bit of a loaded question.
It is. So Dawn's Daily had her S5s. I thought they were a really phenomenal blend. It got to be like the first time I felt like we saw colors going, you know, just a new hint of colors versus just a black and white sneaker. A lot of the sneakers were black and white and they started adding colors. And then, I'm trying to think, I believe her name is, Shamika Codswell, maybe? She had the shoe, let's see, what was it called? The Shop with her name. But it was like a Jordan 13 and the shocks put together. And to me, the Jordan 13 was my first shoe. So to see that shoe, it didn't have the Jordan logo on it, but just that marriage of those two shoes, it was like, okay, wow, like where are shoes going, you know? And fast forward to today, and you got, I'm messing up everybody's name, let's just move on. And fast forward to today, and you have Candace Parker, where her new versatility shoes that she just landed, like I really loved those last year. They were really nice release. So.
Yep, and Brianna has a shoe.
Yes.
And I think that brings home the point too. I think that we're seeing this marriage between celebrity and sneaker culture, right? But we've really seen the WNBA signature shoes stall for years, and obviously we're seeing a resurgence now. But do you feel like we need to see more collaborative shoes between brands and players, specifically WNBA players?
Yes, yes. I do for awareness purposes. You know, just for that spark of wow, I can be in that space. That whole marriage of putting the players outside of the arena that brands can do is important.
We're crossing our fingers for a reggae. All right, awesome. Okay, so I think I really wanted to make sure we touched on this because what I do for a living is we essentially talk about sneakers style, sneaker style, and how you can stay cute and fly and, dang, my ring fell off, bro. Stay cute and fly and still be comfortable and be yourself. So, who do you think merges sneakers and style well?
Right now, my go-to girl is Tiana Taylor.
Okay.
I love her. I've actually been following her for a very long time, and she's always been what you would consider a sneakerhead. I love her style because she knows how to dress it very up and also dress it all the way down to be tomboyish. And I feel like she's not afraid to be bold with what she wears and then still rock sneakers with it. And then, of course, I mean, she just came out with a sneaker and it's phenomenal. I think one of the best Jordan 1 collabs so far.
Really?
Yes. So, I have to give it to her.
That one will be selling pretty well?
Yes.
I know.
Okay, so Steph, I kind of want to pivot back, unless you have some thoughts on who's.
No.
Okay. I want to pivot back because I feel like we can dive a little bit deeper into the conversation about the relationship between women's basketball and sneakers. Why do you feel like that relationship is so important? And how do you feel like we can continue to push that relationship even bigger than it is now?
Got it. I mean, my initial answer was awareness, and so I mean, I hate to stay there, but I mean that is really to me the pinnacle of what needs to happen there. It's just
So awareness
yeah.
and representation.
Representation is
That
key.
matters.
That's going to come into play with the awareness. Representation, just being able for little girls to be able to walk into a retail store or into a movie theater or something, and you see those brands play those ads where you have female basketball players and sports representatives all over wearing their shoes. It introduces kids to a world they may not know of if they've never watched it on TV or never been in the arena. So it just opens those doors for their imagination.
Yeah, sets the stage for a new generation, for sure. Anything to add?
Yes. It needs to happen. It shouldn't even be a question. It should already be happening.
And we're already seeing Nike
slowly.
invest very heavily into the WNBA, but
It should be as heavily as the men's as well. I'm not trying to be the men's against women type of person, but women are very important in the WNBA, and we just don't want to shop for men's basketball shoes. I want to shop for women's basketball shoes a lot, and there's not that many choices for us. And so, as you will see a young girl want to be a basketball player, she probably want a female shoe as well. And if there's not that many options, that means we need change. So, I think just more awareness and just bring it to the players, allow them to open up and be able to have a custom shoe done for them through a brand that represents them.
that transitions beautifully into my next question, right? Because I feel like, just like you said, there is demand, we have to create supply,
Yes.
right? Basic economics, if you will. But I think one thing that we tend to forget, especially as consumers, is how important our voice and our dollars are. So that being said, given that we all agree that the WNBA is incredibly important and incredibly meaningful, and we'd love to see more signature shoes from past, current, and future players, how can women in our culture, or consumers in our culture, and fans of the WNBA work together for mutually beneficial results in that capacity. Or really not just in sneakers, but in making sure that the WNBA shines as brightly as it should.
I think just showing up for women's WNBA period, will be the first stance. I don't see enough of anyone there. I think it needs to be more of a high demand, more of a promotion, more of a big announcement, fireworks if you call it, for WNBA. There needs to be more awareness of what they do, and more representation, more showcasing, more commercials, more brand promotions, everything. And that way it'll open the avenue to be like, oh, okay, this is here. Maybe we do need to stand up a little bit more. Maybe we're not making enough noise for them.
But what can consumers do specifically? And if you need to take a beat and think about it, that's okay.
Okay, I'm thinking about it.
Okay.
I was saying, and then here we come back. We're back at recognition, right? And brand. So what we could do for me as a reseller, I could put more WNBA sneakers on my table, right? I could do more reviews on my social media, on YouTube, saying this shoe is coming, this shoe is dropping. As far as brands, what they could do is more, like she said, high-power deliveries of the shoe coming. Like when the Giant Ones were dropping, they had like, you know, a huge suitcase that they unfolded with diamond encrusted shoes and all of that. Tiana Taylor's wearing another good example. Hers dropped, it was her celebrity friend saying, these shoes are coming, and look at this packaging that comes with it. Like they got amazing displays that all her celebrity friends got to talk about. So if that happened when the WNBA teams were coming from the brands, that'd be amazing. And then WNBA fans and other female and males, everybody who wants to represent this culture, could do their own small reviews on their social media and build excitement about this is coming, support this person,
Right.
and purchase.
Yeah, purchase. And one of the main things too is buy a ticket. So those of you who are in the arena tonight, congratulations, because you just supported an amazing, amazing brand, an amazing team. And then, you know, go out and check out your own Satu Sabali's sneakers, or Jordan brand sneakers. But yeah, let's wrap it up with, I think for me, a very important question. How do you want the next generation's experience to be and to look like and to feel in sneakers?
Already speaks to my age. I feel like the next generation is already here. But I'm inspired. Like I said, when I go to sneaker shows and I look down at people's shoes and I see what they have on, it's always amazing to me to see what new shoes people are wearing that aren't just the hype releases or that are not sneakers at all, but you know have become sneakers by association almost. So I think a space that I'm not into is the NFT space. I think it'd be interesting to see what they're doing in virtual reality spaces with sneakers and stuff like that. I mean, while I'm too old for it to be my thing, I think they will do things that I can't even begin to imagine. So
You're never too old, Stephanie.
oh.
What about you?
For me, I don't want it to be hard. I don't want it to be a fight for sneakers. Just going back to like us standing in line and pushing and shoving just to get a pair of sneakers. I don't want it to be like that. I think it should be fair across the board, where everybody should get something that they want. Of course, this is a market, it is a brand, we are selling, but I don't want it to be a difficult thing. I want it to be, them to be able to get something and enjoy it and be happy that they've been able to purchase this purchase, not fought for their life to get this purchase, you know. And I want there to be different avenues as well to be able to get shoes and other spaces, just like you said, NFT, which is awesome to actually get one. And just to have opportunities to have other spaces available for sneakers, to step outside of the stores, be able to go to resellers, to be able to go to different spaces that are not the norm, to be able to purchase sneakers.
And customize.
And customization.
All right, well, thank you both. Thank you, Stephanie. Thank you, AK, for joining us. And thank you guys for watching. Enjoy the rest of the game.